9 drivers are all that remain, and 8 of them stand in the way of a champion. After tonight's racing, only 3 will have the honor and privilege to race it out to become the Freezie500 champion. And while J-Jax remains in protected custody, rumors have it another driver has mysteriously vanished after last week's episode. The whispers in the paddock are that dark forces are once again at play, and that familiar shadows are looming. Wise men don't make dark deals. From here on out, we will be scoring only the top 9, and after tonight, only the top 3 in points will be granted that opportunity to fight for the coveted chalice and collect their prize. Getting things underway tonight in the first group is Ricochet, Arlo, and Grumpy Cloud. The favorite being Ricochet, whose second round performance firmly planted him in the hunt for top spot. However, his semi-final opponents are not to be taken lightly. Grumpy Cloud is racing for his freedom from the penal colony, and Arlo is a racing god in his own right. Let's do this. Race 1 starts right now. And it looks like Arlo is taking exception to Ricochet's shiny ride right out of the gate. He rides him right into the boards at the jump and flips him over, giving Grumpy Cloud a clean bottom half of the course. Grumpy Cloud takes full advantage of that opening, and he puts it in for 11 points. But it's his vicious attack by Arlo on Ricochet that puts him up and over at the jump. And then you see Grumpy Cloud, he gets into the berm a little bit, pops a wheelie, and the rest is all golden. He makes his second effort worth it, while Ricochet and Arlo are stuck on 5. You can see why maybe Arlo was a bit apprehensive in race 1, as he gets out early in front of Ricochet, but at the jump, Ricochet puts on the afterburners, comes along, and actually passes Arlo on the second half of the course. Arlo's making his way down that left-hand side, all rubbed up against the wall and the berm there, where Ricochet has a flawless run down the course, and Grumpy Cloud rolls in for another 10 points too. Wow! And Arlo just took Ricochet out again at that same spot as in race 1. Grumpy Cloud hangs out in the background and gets a front row ticket to this absolute dominant performance over Ricochet by Arlo. Arlo then takes it to the bottom half of the course and makes no mistake for 11 points, where Grumpy Cloud has some fancy driving to roll in for another 10 points. That's 3 times across the line for Grumpy Cloud this race. And just like that, the Freezie giveth and the Freezie taketh away. In one of the most balanced groups of the tournament, Grumpy Cloud leapfrogs Ricochet to find himself in top spot for the first time. The drop points by Ricochet are gonna hurt, but it's really Arlo who, had it not been for his opening race tangle, could have potentially been tied for the top spot. However, it's the consistency of Grumpy Cloud that sees him stake his claim for the finals. Pressure is on for the second group of drivers, as this trio sees Sneaky Bob and Stray Dog take on Boog. Stray Dog is arguably the favorite in this race, as his second round success saw him vault into a tie for second place within spitting distance of our overall leader. Don't discount Boog or the unobtainium of Sneaky Bob though. Let's get back to the action. It's up to the top of the trail for race 1 of Group 2. And Boog draws first blood in this race, as the unobtainium of Sneaky Bob gets out in front of him just a little bit, but I think Boog pulled a little bit of a dirty pit maneuver as they cross the jump, and that wiggles Bob out just enough so that Boog can get by and across the line. I tell ya, that Sweet 16 of Boog is going to go far in this tournament if he can continue pulling laps down like that. And what in the sweet Verglasia did we just see there by Stray Dog on Boog? It's almost as if Sneaky Bob paid a little something to Stray Dog at the gate, and Stray Dog takes out Boog, allowing Sneaky Bob a free run at the course, but Sneaky Bob squanders that opportunity as he can't control his bouncing unobtainium at the jump. That block on Boog by Stray Dog is enough to scrub both of their momentums, and I guess Sneaky Bob got all excited and he gets spun out just before the finish line on the pond. Losing out on those two crucial extra points is going to be a tough one to swallow for Sneaky Bob, as he had this one in the bag and all he had to do was cross the line. Whoa, and it does look like Sneaky Bob and Stray Dog have a plotted scheme against Boog. They combined to spin Boog out and put him up on his lid and into the rocks at the jump. As Stray Dog finishes Boog off, you can see how much trouble Sneaky Bob has in controlling his unobtainium, as it's just bouncing wildly all over the place. But it's poor Boog who took the brunt of that tag team attack by Sneaky Bob and Stray Dog, who's really gonna be affected in the overall scores. These guys needed to spend more time picking racing lines than picking on each other, because I don't think their score is going to be good enough to make the finals. It all started so positively for Boog, and one can only imagine that the jealousy of that opening run spelled his demise as Stray Dog and Sneaky Bob decided to play spoiler instead of picking a racing line. Despite a very disappointing point tally in round 3, Stray Dog jumps over Arlo and into the third spot on the strength of his second round score. If the finals were to start right now, 2 of the top 3 would have made it because of their second round scores. But of course we've saved the best for last. Coming into tonight, Zarnock has done nothing but curse James Ironbeard. So much so that he even seemed to have made a deal with the Dark One himself. Ironbeard has remained just ahead of Zarnock, taunting him from race 1. The real wild card is Fat Dad. How is his presence going to tip the scale? Let's find out. Race 1 goes right now. Oh, and Fat Dad is playing with fire here. I don't know whether Zarnock got a little something in Fat Dad's pocket, but Zarnock holds back, and you can see that he picks a racing line way wide, where Fat Dad gets into the rear quarter, James Ironbeard spinning him out at the jump, putting him on his lid. I don't think it was intentional by Fat Dad to get into Zarnock's way, as he just kind of bounces and unfortunately collects Zarnock. That probably isn't going to sit well with Zarnock, as I'm sure that wasn't the plan at the start. Because you can clearly see Zarnock sandbagging it at the top half of the course, waiting to see what's going to happen. Round 3 has definitely been a battle so far, and all under the watchful eye of Mr. Dark. And the cat and mouse games continue. Fat Dad throwing his weight around as he bounces off James Ironbeard and then Zarnock. Fat Dad has been less of a wild card in this race and more of a wrecking ball. And it seems our leaders can't catch a break in terms of being able to get a clean run down the course. I can only imagine that Ricochet and Stray Dog are both on the sidelines, eager with anticipation, hoping these guys are able to continue battling it out and not collecting points. Because every point dropped by Zarnock and Ironbeard means that Ricochet and Stray Dog are that much closer to a final appearance. This trio has one more race to make it count. Let's see what they can do.
Remember our agreement, Zarnock. I have been true to my word. Don't you dare disappoint me.
can say is that champions find a way. James Ironbeard, with all the odds stacked against him, is able to back his car across the line for 11 points. After everything that was stacked up against him in this race, Fat Dad throwing his weight around, Zarnock with his Mr. Dark, it's amazing that James Ironbeard is able to collect his ride, bash Zarnock out of the way, and get his rig across the line for such an important score. It was imperative that either Zarnock or James Ironbeard get those extra points, and James Ironbeard comes through. Zarnock, on the other hand, just can't find an answer to James Ironbeard.
Zarnock! I warned you. You may not have kept up your end of the deal, but I always do. My word is my bond, and Mr. Dark never forgets. Your soul is now mine.
So yeah, we have our 3 finalists. And what an amazing surprise it is. Failing to capitalize and dropping points in the last race, Zarnock not only misses out by 3 points, it looks like his deal with Dark has taken a very sinister turn. James Ironbeard rescues his tournament with a clutch 11 points in his last race, and Grumpy Cloud has continued to improve, crossing the line all 3 times to secure his spot in the number 2 position. Ricochet survives his group to firmly clutch onto the number 3 spot in the finals. It has been quite the challenge for the drivers to reach this point in the tournament, and each of the top 3 have proven they can come up big when the pressure is on. However, they have also shown signs of weakness that have the potential for exploitation, and even though James Ironbeard clings on to the top of the table, only 5 points separates him from Ricochet. Oh yeah, there is also Grumpy Cloud, who is racing for more than a championship. It all concludes next time in the final 6 laps in the grand finale. You've been watching the Freezie500 from Verglasia. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.
Hello, James. Your performance has impressed us. Good luck in the finals. We'll be watching.